大変お待たせいたしました。
Thank you very much for waiting, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to start the 21st Kawasaki International Eco-Business Forum. And I am the Master of Ceremony. My name is Suzuki from the Environmental Research Institute of Kawasaki City. Now, before the opening of the forum, I would like to invite Mr. Tomonari Mitamura, the mayor of vice mayor of Kawasaki City, to give a welcome remark. Hello, everyone. My name's Mitamura. I'm the vice mayor of Kawasaki City. Thank you very much for joining us in the Kawasaki International Eco-Business Forum. And this forum was started in 2005, and this is a venue to exchange information on the excellent environment technology offered by the Kawasaki local companies and also initiatives inside and outside Japan. And from the business point of view, to identify the measures, countermeasures to resolve the environmental issues with the cooperation between companies and the cities. And thanks to the support of all the stakeholders, this time we marked the 21st of this forum. And Kawasaki City celebrates its centenary this year, and the theme for the forum this year is towards sustainable symbiosis between cities and industry, green strategy for next 100 years, linking Kawasaki and other Asian cities. And also, we are very happy to announce that we have participants from outside of Japan, from overseas, first time in 5 years. And so to start with, we would like to show you a video which was produced to celebrate the centenary of the Kawasaki City, entitled 100 Years of Environment in Kawasaki City. And I would like you to watch the video to reflect upon the initiatives by the Kawasaki, not only by the administration, but also the citizens and corporation in cooperation to tackle the environmental issues. And in the panel discussion, Fujita-san is going to coordinate to talk about materialization of sustainable society. And so we are facing the climate crisis, and it is affecting lifestyle quite often. And so in the pollution, industrial pollution issues, we could face individual issues in each location, but climate change and climate crisis is the global issue. And therefore, this crisis is in fact affecting the lifestyle, and frequently this would necessitate us to transform significantly our lifestyle and the social systems that we have built so far. Through the forum today, I hope that we will disseminate information towards materialization of sustainable society and gain a new point of view from Kawasaki City, so that we will seek the further cooperation for the diversifying and even more complicated environmental issues. In closing, I hope once again that this forum will be the fruitful event for all of you. And I would like to thank all the participants and the stakeholders. Thank you very much.
誠に恐縮ではございません。
I'm very afraid, but Mr. Mitamura has to attend the public duty, so he will retire at this point.
続きまして、
Next, as part of information shared by Kawasaki City, We would like to show you a video entitled the 100 Years of Environment in Kawasaki City and traces of challenges taken by Kawasaki City and message for children in the future. And in order to protect the future environment, it is full of important messages. So please.
Kawasaki used to be the
town, the pivot of traveling in the Tokai Way, and the main produce was the rice. But places close to the sea, they grew fruit and also salt, and they also caught shellfish on the coastline. And cultivation of nori, seaweed, was one of the biggest industries. And at the end of Meiji period, the industrialization of Kawasaki started. In those days, in order to revitalize the area, they invited many factories. And there was the train railway opened in 1910 to carry cargo between Kawasaki and Shinagawa. And this had the advanced train technology, offering convenience. And from end of Meiji to Taisho, there were many factories built in Kawasaki. This is the beginning of the industrial city Kawasaki. And the land reclamation in the Kawasaki coastline started in 1930s, reached the Mizue by 1940, and during the war, it was damaged by the bombing, but it recovered fully. In 1960s, one of the largest, the petroleum complex was also built, and this Kawasaki was part of the Keihin industrial area, and one of the representing the city for economic growth. It started developing, but the products produced by these factories made people's lives richer and richer. However, in the meantime, there was the pollution issues from the soot and smoke, vibration, noise, and the polluted water deteriorated people's lives, and air pollution caused by the dust and carbon dioxide caused health problems. With the influx of population, the municipal wastewater increased, and that led to serious air pollution along the road, and also the water pollution. And this became the significant issue as the urban lifestyle type environmental pollution. And the citizens who were affected by the pollution raised a voice of protest, and this led to the lawsuit in later days. And also the Kawasaki City administration started to reflect the voices of the citizens, and there were many meetings held to address the pollution, and the citizens participated in these meetings. And reflecting to the voice of the citizens to take measures against the pollution, Kawasaki City embarked upon many activities, and it concluded the air pollution preventive measure with 90% of the companies in the area. And also in 1972, they had the air pollution monitoring system, and preceding the rest of Japan, they put in place the pollution prevention ordinance for air pollution, and also they issued the environmental assessment ordinance as well. And the businesses were very active in making investment to address the pollution and develop a number of technologies to address the environmental problems. And Kawasaki City, after that, actively cooperated with the businesses and put in place the countermeasures for air pollution caused by automobile engines and exhaust. And so this is a combined effort of the citizens and the Kawasaki administration brought the significant improvement in air pollution. And so the SOx and also the suspended particles and also the NOx reached the environmental regulatory standard. And also there was the water pollution countermeasure, and BOD, which is an index of water pollution, declined. And we began to see many the biota in the water system. And there's a lot of canals that have been revitalized, and they are enjoyed by the citizens. And Kawasaki City would continue with these efforts and they support the school education to enlighten children about the environment, and they try to disseminate the next generation vehicles such as hydrogen vehicles. And also there are activities underway to suppress the photochemical smog, and there are continued studies for even better environment carried out by the Kawasaki City. Now, this is a history of trash, and which is a part of our day-to-day life. Let's look back on the history of trash and its treatment. And the Edo period, they developed their reuse and repair industry. They had a high-level recycle society already. And since the Meiji period, we opened up to the rest of the world, and there was the contagious diseases spread, and there was laws and regulations established to address the public hygiene issues. And the collection of trash in Kawasaki City was done by this people drawn the carriage, and in order to prevent the environment pollution caused by trash, Kawasaki City introduced the advanced collection vehicles. And also we launched the incineration of burnable waste in 1971. We created the incineration plant with the power generation capability. However, due to the increase of the population during the economic growth and the massive production, massive consumption, the trash volume increased sharply, and this exceeded the limit of the capacity of the incineration plant. In 1990, Kawasaki City declared the
So, in order to reduce the trash in Kawasaki City, and in consideration of environmental concerns resulting from this, Kawasaki City launched a number of environmental processes, including an expansion of the trash separation system and further initiatives towards a reduce, reuse, recycle, 3F focused and promoting society. As an initiative considering the role of children and the next generation, trash zero cafes and carbon neutral programs that involved city personnel were also started. In 1995, throughout Japan, the first trash removal trains were started. In 1997, with an eye for reducing waste to zero, Kawasaki became the first city in Japan to focus on making its infrastructure focused on safeguarding the coastal areas and introducing a cyclical trash system. Kawasaki's reduction in waste amounts is in part due to the cooperation of its citizens, and ever since the declaration in 1990, over the 30 years since, there's been a 30% reduction in total waste produced in Kawasaki City. Since in 2017, Kawasaki City was named the top city in Japan amongst designated cities for having the lowest waste per capita. Towards a new 100 years. Now, we're facing a number of new environmental issues. Global warming is progressing, and climate change is having wide-ranging effects on society and people. In 2020, the average temperature rose to historic highs, and it's assumed that there will continue to be strong influences from that in the future. As a forerunner of environmental city building, Kawasaki City is launching a number of initiatives, including the 2050 decarbonization program. Kawasaki City is focusing on its coastal areas and planning a carbon-neutral complex as part of its war against climate change and so on. In its plan to become carbon neutral, Kawasaki City is looking at a number of different ways that energy can be supplied in different ways: reduction in CO2 emissions, use of CO2 neutral hydrogen energy, and bringing in and using energy supplied from overseas that does not have a carbon footprint. And as part of this, Kawasaki City is looking at how carbon neutrality and business can work together. In its Carbon Zero Action Mizunokuchi, Kawasaki City is looking at 2023 and hosting a number of environmental events that focus on introducing the idea of the 3R initiative to youths and connecting this action to hydrogen energy for students. Further decarbonization actions include the introduction of automated cars around Japan, as well as the use of hydrogen energy and other sources of clean energy. In 2023 October, the regional energy company Kawasaki Mirai Energy was founded. Thereafter, citizens, business owners, and politicians are working together to help Kawasaki in its fight against environmental and carbon-related issues. At the Kawasaki Center, highly effective energy is being produced from the burning of trash, and Kawasaki City is planning on how that initiative can be furthered. A number of businesses are working together with Kawasaki City in order to further its environmental policies, including how to reduce the gas emissions from the disposal of plastic by using it in a reuse cycle and using waste plastic to make other things. In doing this, Kawasaki City is hoping to realize a circular society of recycling. There are a number of initiatives required in order to support future generations in the new century, and towards this, Kawasaki City is helping youth and children create a picture of what the new approach might look like and how life in 2050 might be. In order for future generations to live safely and happily, Kawasaki City is working hard towards solving a number of these environmental issues, and by working together to realize these dreams, we can all solve these issues. If it's Kawasaki, we can do it. We can absolutely do it. Next, we will have session 2. Today's coordinator is Mr. Fujita from Tokyo University. If the speakers could please come forward. We have Denny Rusmaya from Indonesia's university. We have Eric Zussman from IGES. once again. I'd like to introduce our coordinator. Tokyo University graduate and researcher, Mr. Fujita. From here, Mr. Fujita will take over. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Just a little introduction from me. I'm Fujita from Tokyo University. This is actually my first time participating at this forum, and there are a number of topics regarding the relationship between recycling and business being discussed here today, and I would like to bring my more than 20 years of experience to this topic. This forum has a number of themes, but sustainability is chief among them. In the 20 years that this forum has been occurring, industry has been a regular topic, and the symbiosis between industry and recycling is most important for us. Today we'll see a number of different presentations from people around Asia and how they are addressing their local issues in this matter in smart ways. And then Kawasaki City is also sharing with them how it has solved some similar issues. I'm sure everybody has strong feelings about this, but sustainability is something that we are realizing for our children, for the next generation, and that will be the main theme today. Today we have 6 people presenting. First of all, I will provide a brief introduction of everybody. First, we have from Penang, Malaysia, the General Manager, Josephine. Next, from Bandung University, we have Assistant Professor Denny Rusmaya. We have one more person from the international side, Eric Zussman from IGES. From Japan in Kawasaki, we have JFE Engineer Manager Takashi. Another from Kawasaki is company leader Tanaka from Japan Mikunya. Finally, from the Kawasaki Global Warming Center, Shoji. First, we'll have a discussion involving all 6 participants, and their panel discussion will take a few minutes. First, we have Josephine from Malaysia presenting.
First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Fujita. as the coordinator of today. Good morning. Ohayo gozaimashita. First of all, I think I am the lucky number one. They are the luckiest, I think one of the lucky lady that to be in this as one of the speakers of the day. So before I start my sharing of the day, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, the organizer, especially the Kawasaki City, the Japan's Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry. Thank you very much in having me. And it is once, I'm so happy to be back for this Kawasaki conference on that. So today, I am representing the state government of Penang, right, to share a little bit on what are the initiatives that we are doing on the Penang state and moving towards our net zero targets on that. Right. Next slide, please. So before I start, what are the targets and all the things, let me introduce my team first. So Penang Green Council, we are the state government agencies that are established by the state government since the year of 2011. So as you can see from the photos, it's not a very big organization. It's only 16 of us, but full of ladies. Right, so we are the social profit. So what we in charge mainly is for two main parts. One will be assisting the state government in terms of green policies, advocacies, and social research. Another part, which is where we are very focused on, will be environmental education and outreach program. So yeah, next slides, please. And this is our vision and mission. So our vision is to shaping a green and sustainable future, especially for the Penang state, for the Penang people. So mission is to enable, empower, and advocate the stakeholders to practice sustainable development, which we are going to share more later. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is for the whole conclusion. Our objective, some of the programs that we have designed, basically is a lot. There are too many among 25 in total of all the projects that we are working on. But today I won't go as very detailed at what we are doing, but mainly we focus very much on waste reduction, on waste, energy, and also water efficiency. And next slide, please. So this is my sharing of today. Probably I will share a little bit on our Malaysia in terms of federal government, what are the targets that Malaysia government is having, and how our state level, for our Penang state, how we design some of our programs and projects in order to achieve our state targets and also to complement our federal government targets on that. So next, I will touch a little bit on waste reductions, what we are working on that. Third will be energy part. We are focused very much on renewable energy and also energy efficiency. And for this year, is also one of the big years for Penang State is we will establish our Penang Energy Framework this weekend. Right, and four, there will be water issues and water management. This is where Penang State government is working very closely with Kawasaki City with the support from JICA. And the fifth is also Penang Green Industry, which we deep dive a lot of ESG concept, especially working very closely together from state government and our industrial players. And next slide, please. So Penang as a glance, Penang is not a very big state. Is quite small. It's the second smallest state in Malaysia. So for our population, it's around 1.8 million. Right? So for the usage of water is actually quite high. Currently, it's hit up to 300 liters per day per capita. So next slide, please. Yeah, this is some of the sharing on the left side part, which is our federal government, our Malaysia's target, in terms of we have Malaysians' 5-year plan, our low carbon mobility blueprint, our renewable energy in terms of energy efficiencies and energy framework. And bottom part, this is where Penang State Government, which is we are working on that. We consist of Penang 2030 vision that we support very much on our Chief Minister's vision, followed by the Penang Green Agenda, that is by Penang Green Council. We have in total 10 different working groups in there, so there are a lot of recommendations and solutions. Third will be Penang Green Industry Program, which I mentioned just now, how we work very closely with our industrial players. Later on, I will have some explanations on that. And next is our one of our major project will be Penang Transport Master Plan. So because in Penang, we rely very much on cars, our own vehicles, and public transport we have, but only buses. Yeah, and then if you have been to Penang, so you will realize that traffic congestions is also very, yeah. I still left 1 minute only. Oh, next slide, please. Okay, this is some of the waste management. Yeah, waste reductions on how we improve until today. Penang State is also one of the state in Malaysia that introduced no free plastic bag and no plastic bag day. Currently, we are charging RM1 for from Thursday until Sunday. And then starting from next year, we are looking forward for no plastic bag day every day. So, and second will be no plastic straws as well. So there will be kicks in for enforcement and monitoring part by our local government. So next. Some of the waste, next slide, please. Yeah, some of the waste reductions. I won't go very deep in that, but from the right side there, Trash Free Penang is one of our waste segregation at source policies. Since this year, officially, we will start kicks in for enforcement. My time has finished. Right, shall I continue for a little bit, more 2 minutes? Next slide, please. I'm so sorry for rush. This is for Penang Energy Framework that officially we will launch it this weekend. Basically, for Penang Green Council, we are also organizing a similar conference and international conference and exhibitions on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Next slide, please. So for water issues, this is one of the project that we're working closely with Kawasaki City due to Penang State is one of the water scarcity state. So we are relying on one water source only, which is from Kedah, from our northern site, states at northern region. So we call it as Kuala Muda or Ulu Muda. So there is only one water source for Penang State. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is some of the studies. Next slide.
I hope you can conclude.
Yes. Okay, maybe we can expedite on that. Next slide. Okay, this is challenges. Next slide. Maybe next slide. I can share. I'm still here. So maybe let us jump to the final slide. Next slide. Right, next slide, please. This is some of that. Yeah, this is one thing to mention that thank you very much for Kawasaki City's delegates that officially they visit our chief minister and we are working on to finding another source of water resource, yeah, for the whole Penang State. And yeah, this is one of the projects that we are working together. So next slide, please. Yeah, this is on waste industry program that we're working closely that follows up how we build up our internal capacity buildings together with our local companies that we enhance all the capacity building on site. Next slide. Next slide, please. I believe will be the last one. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. This is one of my quotes that usually I will finish my slides. There will be no man is an island, so every one of us, we have a role to play in order to ensure that we do not pass the world beyond repair to our next generations. Thank you very much once again. And if you have further questions, do approach us. Thank you.
はい、ありがとうございます。時間が非常に厳しく与えられておりますので。
Thank you very much. The time management has to be done very closely. So then we would like to invite the speaker from Indonesia, Bandon. Please start.
Right, yours.
Thank you, Dr. Fujita. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to meet you. Okay, I will start my presentation. Next slide, please. This is an overview of Bandung City. So the area of Bandung City is about 6,731 hectares. The Bandung City area divided in 30 sub-districts. The population in 2023 is about 2.57 million. Bandung is one of the largest cities in West Java province. Bandung is number 2 or number 3 the largest city in the West Java province. Next slide, please. Since 2014, the mayor of Bandung City, Mr. Ridwan Kamil, has started the city of Bandung Smart City. to develop the smart city concept in order to realize sustainable development. So we have 6 smart Bandung city. Smart economy is providing access to information business opportunity for the community. Smart government to create application to simplify public service. We have application Sipaku, and then we have smart people. It was increasing community participation in development process. We have application called Bima Saktipedia, and then we also have similar smart mobility. This transport processing system information. We have application called Kiri. We have also bike sharing, and then we have also smart living. This is a public health service counseling, and then we have smart environment. So we have environmental protection and pollution control. Next slide, please. This is a smart environmental. We have 2 programs in the smart environmental. First is water management. So our goal is to make Citarum River can be used as raw water sources for drinking water. Citarum River is one of the largest river in the Java Island. And then second is construction of retention pond at several points as water parking area to make some water bank. And the second, we have waste management. So the Bandung City government is also collaborating with the Octopus application to make it easier for Bandung City residents to recycle waste by involving street vendor and micro business. So in the Bandung, solid waste or garbage is one of the big business in the city. Next slide, please. So this is issue of solid waste management in Bandung. We have a problem in solid waste management. First, waste management has not been integrated from upper with the downstream on landfill. So the source is done by community, and the downstream is done by government or environmental protecting agency. And the second, the community participation in waste management is still very, very low. And the third, we have in facility was for waste processing, but functioning is not optimally. And the last is we have a limited landfill space. We have Sarimukti for the landfill that used for city, and today the condition is almost overload. So it's a problem of the solid waste management in Bandung City. Next, please. Bandung City produced about 1,796.51 ton per day, so it's very, very large garbage. And they divided to 55.27% is dumped to regional landfill. Sarimukti is about 990 ton per day. And then 40.8% managed by government for environmental protection agency. Next slide, please. This is a level of waste management in Bandung City. We have source level management, we have a regional level management, and we have a city atau regency level management. Next, please. So it's what we have done in the source level management. We have individual composter, we have Washima or Loseda, we have also Takakura. In regional level, we have 3R intermediate disposal area. We have communal composting, and also we have branch waste bank. For the city level, we have integrated waste processing. It's called TPST. We also have a central waste bank, recycle center, and organic processing center. Next, please. This is a picture of the activity in the source of level and the regional of level. Next, please. And this is CTF level. The product of the CTF level is called RDF, refused derivative fuel. This is to co-firing for the coal to change about 20% of coal. Next, please. And this is solid waste management based on the community participation. We have 700 unit brain waste, and we have 1 central waste bank. And the second is we have integrated urban farming. Next, please. This is innovation of the central waste bank operation system. we collect from the brands. Next, please. Maybe 1 minute. This is innovation center of bank. So people can exchange garbage for food, exchange garbage for tulip product, exchange garbage for money, and exchange garbage for gold. And also we start to join with a conventional bank. So we make a digitalization of West Bank. We join with BNI, one of the public bank in Indonesia. Next, please. And this is integrated urban farming. The program is called Buruan Sae. Jadi Buruan Sae is a community empowerment program to integrated urban farming promoted by Bandung City Food Security and Agricultural Service. This program is aimed at overcoming food inequity and dependency problem in the city Bandung. And Buruan Sae integrated to utilize yard land and under an unproductive land. Next, please. This is a picture of how we program in the integrated urban land farming. Next, please. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Okay. はい、前先生ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. Then I would like to invite Mr. Eric Zassman.
Sensei, and thank you so much, colleagues from Kawasaki, for inviting me today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the project we're working on under Japan's joint crediting mechanism. And the project is focusing on bringing solar panels to schools in Quezon City in the Philippines. Next slide, please. Okay, so I think many of us in the room today have some understanding of this joint crediting mechanism. This was a mechanism that was initiated by the Japanese government approximately a decade ago with the intention of facilitating the transfer of low-carbon technologies to developing countries, especially, but not only in Asia. The project has, the initiative has several unique features. One of them is that it can help secure some initial finance or initial investment to help make this technology transfer feasible. On the other side of it, as you can see right here, it can also bring some emission reduction credits back to Japan. And the project I'm going to talk about a lot today has another unique characteristic. I mean, it also, if done well, this JCM can also help achieve other sustainable development benefits for the local context. We sometimes call these co-benefits. So let me go to the next slide, please. Okay, so the project in question is a project that was framed under the Quezon City Enhanced Local Climate Change Action Plan. Quezon is one of the largest cities in the Philippines. It's part of Metro Manila, and it has an extremely ambitious net zero plan, which also outlines a series of different strategies and activities. And under one of these sort of key strategies and activities is designs to put solar panels on 150 different schools in the city. And we're currently trying to develop a project that would get access to resources for 50 of these schools, to provide initial investment for 50 of these schools. And we're hoping to do this, get this project approved by 2025. Can I go to the next slide, please? Okay, now the thing I want to underline here is this project, there's already a proof of concept. So the Quezon City government, with really forward-looking political leadership, has already invested in putting solar panels on a few schools in the city, as well as a few public hospitals. What they've demonstrated is this is not only technically feasible, but one of the important things that come out of this is, of course, you're going to reduce your greenhouse gases. I mean, you're going to shift to lower carbon energy sources. But at the same time, you're also going to be able to save money on your energy bills. And that savings is particularly important for educational institutions. It's not sort of public knowledge, but it's understood from people that work on these projects that upwards of 30% of the city's, the school's budget comes from energy costs. So if you save those energy costs, those resources can be used for teachers' salaries, for educational materials. Last but not least, and this is something we'll address, I think, later in the panel discussion, obviously a project like this has huge social benefits. So the schools themselves can become living laboratories which enable students to understand, how a city can respond to climate change and also do things that are, good for the social environment. Can I go to the next slide, please? So what we've done as a part of this project and to try to analyze the potential benefits is we've done some analysis of what the emission reductions might look like over a 15 to 20 year period for 50 schools. And you can also see written on this slide here the PM 2.5 and this word dailies. So PM 2.5, we heard about this a little bit in the Kawasaki introductory video. This is a type of air pollutant. It's the most health damaging form of air pollutant. These are fine particulates that get into your lungs. And the dailies refer to the health benefits. This is disability adjusted life years. The bottom line here is that by implementing a project like this, it'll have significant benefits on air quality as well as human health, once again underlying this sort of sustainable development dimension. Next slide, please. Now, the last few points I want to raise are really about this JCM. For those colleagues that are in private sector here that want to engage in JCM, it's a mechanism that is evolving, but one of the key things that you need to make it work, as you can see, is multi-stakeholder cooperation here. And so my institute is working with an NGO in the Philippines called Clean Air Asia. We're working with the Quezon City government. And then you really need to have consultants or stakeholders that have deep knowledge of how these mechanisms work, both in Japan, so you see this Asian gateway. They've been excellent to work with, and they're leading the project, as well as this Tri-Energy, which is a local Philippines-based company that's actually will handle some of the maintenance and operation of the project. So like I suggested here, to make all of this work, you really need to facilitate good multi-stakeholder cooperation. And I think that goes very nicely along with some of the discussions that are going on here. I mean, basically, you need multi-stakeholder cooperation to achieve multiple benefits, including but not limited to mitigating climate change. Can I go to the last slide, please? Next slide, please. So if you have further questions and you'd like to raise any queries, feel free to email me or my colleague, Mayuko Ono-san. Ono-san speaks fluent Japanese, and we'd be happy to talk to you about our experiences. And we do appreciate you giving us a chance to share some of what we've been doing. Thank you.
はい、ありがとうございます。それでは
Thank you very much. Now, we will have some presentations from the Kawasaki City side. First, we have Takahashi from JFE Engineering. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Today, I'd like to introduce JFE Engineering, a company that develops sustainable infrastructure businesses worldwide, guided by a purpose, the foundations of living, creating, caring, connecting. For everybody in Kawasaki City, JFE is probably quite well known, but for everybody else, the JFE Group is a diversified enterprise involved in steel manufacturing, infrastructure engineering, and more. In 2023, we executed various projects in environment, engineering, energy, social infrastructure, and achieved sales of close to 540 billion yen. As I'm sure everybody has heard before, we are focusing on SDGs, and we think that these present significant business opportunities. Our operations contribute to 7 particular SDGs, which you can see on screen, and we're also working on projects that are committed to reducing CO2 emissions through renewable energy. This is also an area that we're heavily focused on. In order to realize a circular economy, we're strengthening 5 key initiatives: waste recovery, utility services, infrastructure projects, carbon neutrality measures, and digital transformation. And we use these as our 5 keywords. And we focus quite heavily on these as part of our projects. Next slide, please. So I'd like to touch on waste disposal a little bit and look at disposal sites prevalent in many Asian countries. As you can see just by looking at the picture, these sites cause a number of serious problems, such as fires, odors, pests, and they emit methane, a greenhouse gas. So as cities rapidly develop, it becomes increasingly difficult but increasingly important to find new disposal sites, which poses a major challenge for communities. And particularly in Asia, this is something that we see increasingly often today. As you can see in the picture, this is very much a big problem in Asia. However, if we compare the previous picture to the one before you now, I think it's pretty clear which of the two situations is better for the local residents. This is the Meguro waste incineration plant, which we, JFE, built in central Tokyo. We built it using cutting-edge technology, and it provides electricity derived from waste disposal to the area without really impacting the surrounding environment. Next, please. One of our group companies, J&T Recycling, is headquartered in Kawasaki, and it takes an integrated approach by combining various technologies such as waste to energy, food waste biogas, plastic and home appliance recycling, and proper landfill management. And this aligns with Kawasaki City's initiatives in its aim to become an even more environmentally advanced city. Next, please. Looking beyond our business activities, we are actively engaged in various social contribution activities. These focus on environment and disaster prevention, which are closely related to our operations, community partnerships, which are essential for our local operations, and next-gen development, supporting and connecting people's lives to the future. This is something that we feel is important for not just Japan, but for all countries around the world. These are just some of the themes that we work on outside of our business activities. However, while we are a business first, we are focusing on how we can help produce a better future for our children. Next, please. This is the last page. We have another purpose, just for the Earth. Did you notice that the capital letters in our name, JFE? So the JFE Engineering Group is committed to realizing a sustainable circular economy for the next 100 years by collaborating with Kawasaki City and Asian cities through innovative technology, cooperation with local businesses, and optimal financing. Thank you for your attention. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much. You did a very good job of creating a good sense of appeal for your company. Next, we will hear from Tanaka from Mikunya. Today, I'll be speaking about our volume reduction technology and the effects that result from its introduction. Thank you. As I said, I'll be talking about our Mishmax volume reduction technology. There's a number of different processing types that we have, and you can see them on the bottom of the slide. Next slide, please. So this is our 40th year of operation, and we have 195 employees throughout the country. As you can see in the picture on the right, we have our assessment center as well as our consulting in that location. And then we also have additional businesses, including Mishmax. Next slide, please. So this is the primary Mishmax system. First, we have been able to reduce the amount of waste for raw waste and sewage and such with this machine. We also have been able to produce a circular renewable system, and then we've also been able to drastically reduce the amount of odorous gas emissions. We've created a video for you to watch today. Please enjoy. Increasing population concentration results in excess sludge in sewer systems. Our Mishmax reduces the volume of organic waste with high water content, which is normally difficult to treat. Our Mishmax system uses microbes to ferment and break up organic matter. No special bacteria are necessary for the treatment, since it uses locally sourced microbes. As well as being environmentally friendly, it's a readily available technology. Just add organic water to the tank and remove the treated water after 6 months. Transportation and incineration of the residue is handled by Mishmax. It is also effective in cutting CO2 emissions. We have a number of processing types ranging from small to large. We use thermophilic fermentation technology. The bacteria in Mishmax live in these cedar chips. This is a substrate for many bacteria because of its innate qualities, and it reduces organic waste volume by more than 90% in a short amount of time using fermentation heat and water vaporization. In 6 months, the leftovers become, as you can see here, which can be used as fertilizer or a fuel. In Japan, we use this to treat food waste and sludge from water treatment plants. Testing we performed in Vietnam demonstrated effectiveness for food waste and sludge processing. We are conducting projects focusing on environment and disasters by applying the concept of harmony of ocean and humanity. We manage contributions to the realization of recycling societies by promoting technical assistance for developing countries. Next slide, please. Thank you very much. Other than Japan, we have also been working in Vietnam. We have worked with the Da Nang University of Technology and Kyoto University in order to increase the effectiveness and work out better ways of applying our technology. This has become part of an international cooperation program managed by JICA. For us, we think this is an important technology for Southeast Asia in its efforts to better control the negative effects of economic development. Thank you very much. Please bring it to our Indonesian and Malaysian friends. Next, we have Yoshiko Shoji from the Kawasaki Center for Climate Change Actions. Thank you very much. I would like to introduce myself a little bit. Next slide, please. As you saw earlier, we are part of the decarbonization action that you saw earlier. And we have 59 centers that have been established as part of this ongoing program across Japan in places designated by prefectural governors and mayors of government-designated cities for this program. Next slide, please. In promoting the prevention of global warming, we rely on the efforts of our citizens. We have programs and projects at elementary, junior high, and high schools, as well as at children's cultural centers, and then at local community groups and neighborhood associations. Currently, we have given 31 lectures on topics including decarbonization, SDGs, energy conservation, biodiversity, consumer lifestyle, and more. We are also hosting 3 or 4 events a year with important related parties. And our goal is to continue increasing the awareness of this decarbonization action in order to produce a better future for our children. Next slide, please. In addition to that, we have been pioneering the first technology for measuring the energy of air pressure and how that is able to contribute to decarbonization. We are cooperating internationally in the development of this project. As you can see in the pictures, we also have our eco-platform C3. This was started in 2010 and is a platform meant to create further eco-consciousness for citizens and businesses. So for both groups, we answer a number of different questions that help them understand how they can be involved, how it can be good for their businesses, how the two are connected, and so on. And this is just one of many plans that are being put together by the Mizunokuchi Decarbonization Action. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about the role of citizens in all of this. So here we have a lot of business owners and members of businesses. And what we are trying to do is help citizens work out how they can see, notice, and then take action in the overall action for decarbonization. And we think it's important that we can clearly and simply convey to citizens how they can be involved. And by doing so, we think that society will change in positive ways towards decarbonization. And this is what we are calling our Carbon Zero Challenge for Kawasaki City. Next, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You did very well keeping your presentation to just 6 minutes, so we're very thankful for that. Now we will have a panel discussion for the Kawasaki delegates and our international delegates. We have a layout change, don't we? Yes, if everybody could please wait for just a couple of minutes while we change the layout. Thank you.
はい、じゃあ多分あと
Okay, I think we'll be done in just one more minute, if everybody could please wait. But in the meantime, I'll do a little bit of an introduction. We've heard from a number of people in Kawasaki today, including JFE, who is a large member of the community here. And we've seen a large amount of innovation on display today. And as part of that, we've also seen how even our citizens are putting a lot of effort towards carbon zero. From the international side of everything, we were able to see how Penang has a vision for how to achieve carbon neutrality in the future and what they're doing to achieve that. And we would be very happy to hear more from Josephine today. And for circular economies, recycling is something that we've heard a lot about today and how it's going to be quite crucial for businesses. And we heard about CDM from Mr. Zassman today and how the connections between Japan and other countries in Asia are probably going to be quite crucial in the future. We have about 30 seconds towards the end of each panel discussion where we would like to hear from the international side what their vision for the future is. We have a bit of a time limit today, so if everybody could keep their statements to just under 2 minutes. So we'll do 2 rounds for this panel discussion. First, we have Morita from the Kawasaki Recycling Center. For the first round, how are we making efforts to improve not just the Kawasaki area, but to improve the situation globally? And in your experience, what can you tell us about the efforts being made towards that? In Kawasaki, what would you like to see, and what do you think Kawasaki is able to achieve?
I think this forum is a very good example that to showcase of the partnership from international bodies together for, let's take us as one of the good example, Kawasaki City and Penang State, Penang City, to work together in solving or finding another water solutions, and also to finding another water circular economy in Penang State. This is how sometimes it's a good exhibitions or exhibit on how we're working together, partnership, collaborations, together with international corporations. I think next, instead of working towards local actions, we have to emphasize the connections between the local and global efforts. And for us, environmental conservation is usually an interconnected effort. Of course, we start from ourselves, individuals, families, our societies, and while local actions, for example, just a very simple, maybe a tree planting, right? And then a waste recycling campaigns, waste reduction campaigns, improve the surroundings, is eventually will support the global efforts, for example. So one of the good sample or example that I put it is the collaboration between the Kawasaki City and Penang City. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. じゃあ続きまして、デニさん。
Next, we would like to hear from Mr. Usmail.
It's many technology we have from another speaker, and this is used for us to now understand about new technology, especially for solid waste management. So it's an hour, so we can learn from the company in the Japanese how to treat the solid waste. This is a new technology for us, so I will bring this technology information to our government. So probably we can join in this research on to solve the solid waste management program in Bandung especially. Thank you.
Okay, ありがとうございます。それではザスマンさん、同じテーマでお願いします。
Yeah, so in terms of the first question, I really want to emphasize a theme that the Japanese government is putting a lot of attention on. It's called this idea of synergies. Basically, often there's strong synergies between many of our efforts to address climate change or address other global environmental issues and many things that we consider sort of local issues. And the synergies idea, I think, is very important because it suggests that there's potentially dynamic interactions when you start to make these connections. So let me give a very concrete example. I mean, I used the example of the school system with the solar power. So in that case, you're going to be saving money on energy bills. You can reinvest in teacher salaries. You can raise educational outcomes. And on the other side, the schools themselves, they can start to act as disaster relief areas, so if there's a hurricane or a typhoon. So I think what we really need to do is start thinking about when we work on global environmental issues to embed them in a broader discussion of how they affect development and try to leverage these synergies. The last point I want to emphasize in this connection, and something that Fujita-sensei brought up, is that this work or on this conference is focused on this idea of symbiosis, right? But I think this idea of symbiosis is very important, but as we make stronger and stronger connections to some of the social SDGs, I think these synergies are going to become more and more important. So we start to think about youth issues, we start to think about gender issues, we start to think about laborers' issues. So I really want to put an emphasis on making stronger connections to synergies, especially to link things to the social SDGs.
はい、シナジーという重要なキーワードをいただきました。ありがとうございます。それでは続きまして日本サイドからということ。
And so thank you. So to continue on for the Japanese side. Thank you very much. I want to talk a little bit about these environment issues. SDGs are something that JFE is focusing on quite a bit, and to talk about Kawasaki a little bit, as we saw in the video, the gas emissions that result from steel production are a problem that we need to solve. However, we are making concentrated efforts towards that. But if we look at the local context, that is Kawasaki City, there are a number of things that we can focus on solving here. And so I think that there are things that we can look at in the local context that may be solvable there and then applicable to a more global standpoint. So if we consider international problems, global problems from a local perspective, I think we might be able to find some solutions for those problems that we might not have been expecting. And I think that there are a number of circumstances there that we can play to our strengths. Thank you very much. That's a very important thing to focus on, the local context and how it can be applicable in a global sense is quite important. Next, please. From the small and medium enterprise standpoint, we are looking mostly at the Kawasaki area and technology development here. And because we're small and medium enterprises, our resources are actually quite limited. And there's a number of situations in which what we would like to do is limited by our ability to do it in terms of resources. And so this is where organizations like JICA can play a part. And we have been working with them in some of their water-related projects. Environmental business is something that sees a lot of attention in Kawasaki City, and we have a history of that here. And a number of businesses that have developed in Kawasaki have progressed to offering their services globally. And I think focusing on the way Kawasaki can produce things like steel is something that Japan could benefit from, especially given how those products are exported globally. And when we think of it in terms of branding and appeal to a wider community, Kawasaki City has a history of that, experience with it. And I think if we take those kinds of initiatives and apply them to an international standpoint, we will see some success there. Next, Shoji-san, could you speak a little bit from the citizens' perspective? So I think everybody's aware that there is a very big connection between this kind of circular economy and the local citizenry. And if we are going to focus on a global standpoint for solving these kinds of global problems and having that kind of vision, then we need to simultaneously advance both in the local environment with citizenry and on that global level. And I think we have to promote a certain approach to that sort of thing so that we're not throwing good resources after bad. Thank you very much. Thank you for your words on Kawasaki. Next, Mr. Morita, if you could. I think there's a important focus on the industrial environment in Kawasaki City and the way our businesses have been incorporating environmental concerns into their operations. And in Reiwa 3, 2022, our city Kawasaki was nominated for our efforts in that area. My center and this forum also are giving the environment a large place at the table in the consideration of how these things can work together and what that will mean for our business environment here. Looking at things as they are now, there are a number of problems that we consider to be modern problems, but as we saw earlier in the video, there's a number of things that we have dealt with in the past in our history, and I think a number of topics have come up of late where we're asking ourselves, what's the best way to do this? How can we handle this? And I think that's a good timing for us to look at how to progress our initiatives. So we've completed one round now, and I'd like to return to Josephine and ask for your thoughts on the business matching in the business sector, policy matching between businesses and can you tell us anything from your perspective as a Malaysian, what kind of ideas you would like to offer to the forum and draw on your experience as a coordinator? So in that sense, we'll start another round and ask everybody to do 2 more minutes. But instead of asking for more of your thoughts on what we've been talking about today, I'd like to ask you to share your thoughts on the future and how a sustainable future can be realized. Focusing on that keyword, sustainability, can you give us another 2 minutes or less, starting with Josephine?
Okay. Maybe I share a little bit on how the state government is actually, how we work together with our business industry players there and also internationally. As state government agencies, basically Penang Green Council, we have designed a program that we call it as Penang Green Industry Program that basically consists of 3 different mechanisms. One is platform establishment, which we go, basically is to knock the door. The dialogues together with our local peoples, especially for industrial players, consists of MNC, multinational companies, local SMEs, local large companies, and all the industrial sectors. So basically what we go together with the dialogues is to understand their challenges in terms of business and in terms of when they are applying any environmental or green initiative towards their production lines or towards their manufacturing lines. For us, we will focus very much on SDG and also currently the ESG applications in terms of, especially for those, our local people that's going to support the MNCs, because in Penang, we known ourselves as the east side of Silicon Valley because we have a lot of different MNCs in Penang State. And the supply chain basically is our local companies, our local SMEs, our local media-sized companies. So how we are working together on holding their hands in order to understand how they can support the bigger companies and also to support the whole ecosystem. So another part, what we are doing is the pilot projects together with our local companies. So start off to help them, because we are the state government agencies, to assist them in for example, renewable energy and also energy efficiency within their whole process. So this is how we assist them to start off with pilot projects by moving towards the suitable and affordable, accessible green technologies, for example. Third, of course, we provide incentive and also some of the grant from the state government to assist our local industrial players or business operators. Third is also to increase their capacity building towards the understanding on, yes, today I need to know, I know that I have to play a certain role in changing my manufacturing sectors, but how to do that? So this is how we go in and assist and educate, create awareness among them. This is how we work together.
はい、ありがとうございます。多分サステナビリティということを中心に。
Thank you very much. It's very much a conversation focused on sustainability, isn't it? Next, please.
Okay, thank you. What we done is the same of Penang government. So local company in our country also join with another country for the cooperation. We have a pilot project, and also we have funding from international funding, like World Bank. We also cooperate with Asian Development Bank and JICA for the development of solid waste management, wastewater treatment, or water treatment. And also we have technical assistant with the JICA and with the World Bank and with Asian Development. I think that's thank you.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. And moving right along, next, please.
Yeah, so in terms of advancing international cooperation and using some of Kawasaki's experience, I'd like to reflect on a few issues. The first one is, one of the things that's been very impressive from my interactions with Kawasaki lately is when they look at the climate or other planetary crises, they're not only putting a strong emphasis on industry development, but also on maintaining and improving the green space and nature-based solutions. I mean, this is quite striking because you think of Kawasaki as, of course, an industrial city, but our colleagues, I mean, my colleague Yoshida-san and Kondo-san and Anzai-san and many others at Kerry are really interested in nature-based solutions and how they can also help improve health and well-being. I think a stronger emphasis in our climate planning, biodiversity planning on this health and well-being issue. This is something that's also, well-being is also reflected in the new basic environment plan from Japan. I think this will help raise the profile of some of the work that Kawasaki is doing and Japan is doing internationally. So I'd like to see them raise that profile and share that more generally. The second issue, sort of moving forward, which also touches on the third question, is about this collaboration with young people. And we've seen some examples already. I think that this can be strengthened and even put perhaps even more emphasis on engaging with universities. I mean, I think university students have a lot of the energy to work on these issues, and also they might have the skill sets to actually, work with the government, for instance, on designing nature-based solutions or looking at potential for renewable energy. So stronger partnerships with local universities to try to actually inform decision-making and capture some of that energy. Those are 2 points I'd like to raise. Thank you.
はい、ありがとうございます。ローカルユニバーシティのもエンファサイズいただきました。はい。
Thank you very much for emphasizing that once again. Moving on, we'd like to hear from Takashi-san. Thank you very much. Like it was raised in the previous session, at present, we're not focusing just on the here and now. We're focusing on the future as well, in addition to it being a global presenting issue. So what we're thinking about today will become tomorrow's solution. And as business operators, involved in waste management and so on. In line with all of that, we are trying to take that on board in the conduct of our work. And when we think about how that's going to have an impact on the next generation, we are trying to make sure that these projects are as advanced as they can be. And for our company, we are taking that on as an important part of our work. And we think that the cooperation with society in this way is an extremely important and useful thing for us in being a successful business. Thank you very much. Thank you for your words there. Next, please. As we've just heard from JFE today, there's our opinions as business owners on this are very similar. Working with locals in our region for environmental cooperation is something that is very important and crucial to our work, but it is just one element of our work. For example, young technicians and inventors are the people that are going to be relied upon in order to help us develop solutions for these environmental problems. And I think nourishing that is going to be the first step. Sorry, it was a little bit short, but thank you very much. Next, Ms. Shoji. At the forum I was at the other day, it came up that we can't ignore that our children and our youth are the next generation, and we have to consider how things are going to be for them. And so we are doing a lot in our elementary, junior, and senior high projects. And the most up-to-date perspective is those youths, those children. And every year when we have our classes, there's not too many students in there, maybe 10 or 20, and there's a lot of ideas that come up, and as an aspect of communication, I can definitely feel the connection to what is coming next, that next generation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now, finally, on this topic, I'd like to talk a little bit more about how the next generation is closely connected to this theme, but connecting with our children, connecting with the youth, as was just said, is something that we have to consider, and how exactly we involve the next generation in all of these initiatives is something that's going to have a big impact on these projects, hydrogen energy, decarbonization, and so on. But if we consider just children and youths as their own group, I think that allows us to consider things like the water environment and communicate them to citizens who might not necessarily be very involved yet or might not necessarily understand very well, in a way that helps involve them through their children. And thanks to some of the explanations that I've heard today, I think I have some thoughts for how our center can make some improvements. Here today, we've been able to gather together a number of researchers and students of the subject, and I think if we can present these things in a way that will help students and youths in the next generation develop an interest in the environment, we can further develop our initiatives in this. There's a number of things that can help connect this to the citizens and the next generation through the way the environment has negative effects on us as a result of changes to the environment. Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody's helpful cooperation, we've been able to get through this section in a good time, and we've got about 17 minutes. So I'd like to go around one more time and see if anybody has any thoughts that they can share in 1 minute or 2 minutes.
I didn't touch on next generations just now. All right, our young people. I think it's platform creation as one of that, because I think last month, we just launched a Youth Climate Summit. What we can do in terms of state government basically is to provide a platform for our younger generations. I fully agreed with what Eric said just now. Especially for our undergraduates or soon will be graduate students, they are the one that going to hop into our societies and become the decision makers very quick in future. So what we need is to educate and create a series, design a series of different activities or programs that related to environment, especially for awareness, so they can make at least they are inculcated in their mindset since young. So after they have dived into the society, they will have more environmental conservation and consciousness in terms of doing or making any sound decisions. I think this is one of the good things that we have. We have to involve our younger generations, and yeah, in terms of for example, our activities, our meetings, and all that. Thank you.
はい、ありがとうございます。庄司さんのお話ともかなりつながるところがあり。Wanna add some? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. In the Bandung government, we prepare for the young generation. We start with the curriculum educational from the elementary school, junior school, and high school. This is to prepare the young generation to understand how the environmental is very important in the next time and in the next year, and to understand to have keep the environmental from the pollution. I think that's, thank you.
Okay, thank you. ありがとうございます。Zasmanさん、you wanna add?
Yeah, make two quick comments. I mean, I fully agree with what has been offered here in terms of starting young. And I mean, just a very quick, cute story. Last year, my daughter, who's a first grade student, we went to her class in Zushi and taught about the SDGs, and kids were very interested. And one kid raised his hand, and main question is, why do fish eat? That was his question about SDGs, but it starts there. And the second point is, in terms of this forum, maybe something concretely we can try to do is have like a youth panel, or maybe have, invite a few young champions from Indonesia, Malaysia to join us and discuss, what's happening. I know Shoji-san and colleagues are doing a great job, so maybe actually bring them into the audience here and have them share what they're doing. I think that will inspire us and also give them an opportunity to learn from us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 日本側からももし。
Thank you very much. How we can show these things in reality is something that we think about quite a lot, and at our national universities, we have something that I'll call a group, and we have presentations that are basically 2 hours. The first hour is presentation, and then there's reporting afterwards. And what we see in those meetings is certainly the next generation's way of talking is a little bit unusual. They're youth, but we get some interesting responses from them, and there's a lot of things that they ask about and want to know about as a result of the presentations. And it's something that comes up where they are concerned about how their work is going to be able to sustain them in the future. But I think it would be a wonderful thing if we can expand things to our youths a bit more.
I would like to spend the next few minutes to summarize the presentations and the panel discussion. So, number one, as mentioned by a speaker, that this type of a venue is very important to create a showcase for partners, and we need to continue this type of activities to establish a platform to make it an opportunity to exchange knowledge. And once again, we were reminded of the importance of such a venue. And from Kawasaki City, there was a technical presentation, and Denny-san said that taking into those technologies is very important. But at the same time, there's the Kawasaki's local situations and also the characteristics, and so Kawasaki's context need to be combined to the discussion of the technology coming from Kawasaki to be able to understand and appreciate fully what Kawasaki City can offer. So we need to combine the society and technology to create knowledge. I think this is unique to Kawasaki. And the third point is the public involvement, how to increase participation, including young engineers and people from the education domain to increase the awareness. I believe this forum will be able to stress that point. In Hanoi and Koshigaya, we are planning the Zoom-based international conference between students, and they're working on the decarbonization in shopping malls. We cannot do the meeting in Hanoi so easily. Then we're going to do the workshop in Koshigaya, and then so in Saitama, Koshigaya, we use the Zoom for interactive symposium. I believe that same thing can be done in this forum as well, and of course this may increase the job of the secretariat, and if we can use the Zoom or online meeting platform to exchange information on the environmental issues and also the countermeasures, and based on project or by project or by different locality, we can connect different players, and the children and young youth will take environment issues as their own issues. And I'm afraid that I may not be summarizing the discussions too well, but due to time constraint, then we would like to conclude the presentation and panel discussion for the forum today. And once again, please give a round of applause from the floor to the presenters and also the participants to the panel discussion. Thank you very much. Then I would like to give it back to Suzuki-san, Professor Fujita, and the panelists. Thank you very much. In closing, we would like to invite the General Manager of Environmental Bureau of Kawasaki City, Mr. Sugaya, to make a closing remark. My name is Sugaya. I'm the Director General of the Environment Bureau of Kawasaki City Government. Thank you very much for joining us in this Kawasaki International Eco-Business Forum. And I would like to once again thank Professor Fujita, who coordinated the presentation and discussion. And I would like to thank the panelists for very precious pieces of information and also the latest information. I could really feel how passionate you are in addressing the environmental issues. And I learned a lot from this forum, and I have my own thoughts over what I should be doing for the children for the future, and so that they'll be prepared. And in that sense too, I have a lot of takeaway. And so all the panelists are active in addressing climate and also environment issues. And once again, I was reminded that cooperating and collaborating is very important. And I hope that this forum was a collection of useful information to all the audience as well, so that we'll be prepared for another 100 years of Kawasaki's activities. And those who joined us, I would like to thank you all to close my remark. And thank you once again for participating in this forum. Here, there are 3 pieces of information from the Secretariat. Number 1, the receiver for the simultaneous interpretation, please leave it on the desk before you leave the venue. Second point, there are whiteboards on either side of the room. There's the QR code. This is a questionnaire QR code. This is a very simple QR code, so please cooperate in filling in the questionnaire. The third point, last point, the forum content will be available. There will be an on-demand broadcast from the YouTube channel of the Environmental Research Institute of Kawasaki City. With this, we would like to conclude the Kawasaki International Eco-Business Forum. Thank you for your participation.